being a part of it. Let's get to on a Balls McWednesday. You know, Tom, I had a bad feeling going in. It feels like the script for playing Florida in Gainesville plays out that way every single time. We get an early lead. We blow said lead. I'm left frustrated by the sheer number of arms that Florida has that throw 97 to 100 miles per hour by way of comparison to how few of those arms we have. And it reminds me every time when that game plays out that way that we don't recruit well. We are not evaluating and recruiting well from a pitching staff standpoint. And that's because, to me, they have a philosophy issue. It's stark contrast to watch those two programs. And it's not just those two programs. You can name the top 5 teams in the SEC. I watch a lot of college baseball. You watch the top 5 teams in the SEC, and you watch Florida State, and you go, why do we throw a gazillion breaking balls? Why are we always trying to trick people? Why do we not recruit enough arms that will throw the ball past people? They lead and dictate with the fastball in that league over and over and over again. And we simply do not. We don't have the horses, and we also don't choose to approach the game that way. And it just sucks because in the biggest moments, I mean, what happened last night? So you get 2 guys on late with a chance, and that kid laughs and throws 99 right past you, back to back, suck it, sit down. And there's nobody but Stokes on our entire roster that can do that. It really is hard to bite your tongue when you watch that. It pisses me off to no end. It's one game of baseball, doesn't mean we won't have a great season. But it is a problem. I've been beating this drum even when we were kicking ass. They've got, in my opinion, obviously, they have got to change the way they think about pitching and developing pitching and evaluating pitching. When Metcalf was here, he's not here anymore. He did a great job of evaluating players for this program. He's now, I think, with the Tigers. They could have kept him around. I think they should have, because, you know, you go back 2 years ago and you see a Jamie Arnold, you look at a lot of the best players that were on those teams, Tibbs and guys like that. Those were all his guys he recruited and evaluated. He's gone, and I'm not seeing it with the guys that we're bringing in. They're a good team. Florida State's a good team. They'll be fine. I think this is going to be very sobering. You're going to have that game last night, and you're going to see it 3 times Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because Wake has power arms, and that's how they pitch. And so for me, they're probably one of the 2 best teams in this league, and you're going to watch all 3 guys, the Saturday guys especially, watch all 3 guys throw the ball 96 plus. They all do. They all do, Tom. That was more than just one game. That is about a philosophy. And think about the reason. Imagine parents sending their kids to play for that jackass at Florida. That's how good they are at evaluating developing pitchers, is that you will overlook that jackass and send your kids to that school because that's how good they develop, recruit, evaluate pitching. You'll ignore this heinous human being that's their coach and send them anyhow because that's their reputation. They're really good at it. It's maddening.
It's a group that often underachieves, too. A lot of times that we've made those trips down to Gainesville on a Tuesday. They're coming off of a weekend series or a sequence of 2 weeks in which they're just disappointing. And within their own circle, they're having that discussion. Now, they'd won a lot of games before the High Point weekend, but that was an eye-opener. And you know that they're going to shuffle arms in and out. I mean, it does follow a pattern. We've played better against them the last few years when Link has been here. But it does follow that similar pattern. You're not crazy there. The thing is, specific to them, they underachieve like crazy even when they get those arms. It's amazing that they ever lose any game if you've got that much pitching talent and depth. And they've had that for most of the trips that we've been down to see them, especially when he's been the head coach. And yet they lose games all the time. I don't know how, because when they play us on a Tuesday and you see the bevy of arms, you go, so the weekend thing, you and weekend series. I know, again, this year they haven't lost a ton of baseball games, But it's not like they've been on a stellar 3 or 4 season run down there in Gainesville. You just wonder how it's possible that happens. I would agree. I think it's going to be, generally speaking, okay. They're so hell-bent on having Abraham available on Friday or Saturday this week that he was on a hard cap. And I know that it wasn't perfect, and Link said that in the postgame last night.
35 pitches, 3 walks. They got him out.
Yeah, but he was game. He was ready. I mean, things were working.
That's why they started him too, Tom, because he's handled that environment before, and he was fine with it.
I get it. You're following your plan, and you're judging that the weekend 3-gamer is more important than the Tuesday night. You're just a little thin right now. Kinnear is going to have good nights. Like, I'm not terribly worried about him per se. The Meeble stuff was troubling, but yeah, it's they have a different strength than we do at the very least.
I'm going to extrapolate and say it's not just them. That there are 4 to 5 teams in that league that would beat us the same way over and over again. It wouldn't be pretty right now, in my opinion, if we got dropped into that league. They dictate terms from the mound with the fastball over and over and over again. And we do not. We don't. And if I were Link, I'd have to seriously think about this because, look, it's a stated goal from day one from him that one day I'm going to walk off that field holding the national championship trophy. Well, if you're going to have to get arms like that. Ultimately, that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to get arms like that. And I would say, several, plural being the thing. You can't have a guy here or there. You got to have more of it. And I do think this is the conversation we don't like having. Some of it's NIL. They have a bigger budget. They spend more. And that's true of a lot of SEC teams when compared to Florida State. We don't have the same money. This is my big fear. We go from micro to macro. But macro, my big fear is that every year that goes by where we're at this disadvantage with the system being the way it is and the money being the way that it is, the two super conferences making the most amount of money and having the most to spend on NIL because they're not worried about NIL go. Anyhow, the difference, the gap is going to continue to widen for Florida State. It's going to be a problem. People will tell you numbers about highest paid players for these various teams. And you'll look at it like, obviously, LSU spends gobs of money on baseball. They care deeply, right? But you'll hear stories about a player being paid $700,000, $800,000, $1 million to play college baseball. Florida State doesn't have anybody close to that number. Not even close. Not even, to my knowledge, half that. Not even half that. You're not swimming in the same pool, man. You're in a kiddie pool. And Link is a great coach who's going to have to consistently do more with less when it comes to the ability to bring more players in here if money is at play. He's going to have to. And he's a good coach, so they're going to win a lot of games. And they're going to have enough talent. I think offensively, they'll adjust. That's the first they've seen really good arms this year, and they had it shoved. And that's eye-opening. And they're going to get really good arms this weekend. This could be a very sobering 4-game stretch for Florida State, where you lose that game last night and you see the kind of arms that they have that you do not have. And then you watch whatever happens at Wake. I obviously, I hope we win the series. It'd be great too. I'm not terribly optimistic about it. And it could end up being a pretty eye-opening moment for the year. Now, I think the lineup, I don't want it to get twisted. I think the lineup for Florida State is filled with potential. There's plenty of guys with pop. There's plenty of guys that I think will adjust to what they're seeing and play well. I just don't think from a pitching standpoint, when we're talking about trying to win the World Series, the College World Series, to find the national championship that has eluded us, I feel like we're looking at that same script too often. It's very frustrating. And I'm curious. I've never asked Mike Capozzi, who we get along with swimmingly, and I like a lot as a person, and he's a fun interview, an interesting interview anyhow. To me, I've never asked him, what is your philosophy of pitching? I don't think I've ever directly asked that per se. But I wonder sometimes, is this about we don't have power arms in abundance, so we have to go at it the way we go at it? we're going to try to throw. If you look at every one of Florida's hard hit balls last night, Tom, almost every one, they're all on off-speed pitches. They're hunting off-speed pitches, even when they're down 2 strikes. They're just hunting off-speed pitches to drive the other way. They'll let it get way into the zone and drive it to left center. It drives me nuts. We're very predictable in that way. And I don't know if we pitch that way because we just don't have those arms to throw the ball past you. And so therefore that's what they choose to do, or if that's a philosophy.
Yeah, but you could be answering your own question, though, when it comes to resources, NIL, and what you can go get. And so therefore you got to find a different way to win down in the rotation. At the front of the rotation, you can always find and you can always acquire at Florida State arms that have some electricity to them. I think that's for sure. But we often talk about this, playing from in front in a regional bracket, playing from in front if you get an Omaha, winning that first game, if you got to climb out of it, it's already a difficult task. But very few schools, have the arms that can climb out of a hole if they suffer a loss in a double elimination setting. Florida appears to have those arms. However, they got smacked around by High Point. So what the hell's with them in the sequencing of using those arms?
Yeah, it's very strange.
How is it that High Point can hit high velocity? What is this? How's it possible?
Well, and again, I'm willing to chalk up certain results in certain games in series, generally speaking, to the fact that it's baseball. And weird things happen in baseball all the time. And so, yeah, I'll grant you that. But, I think, too, one of the things, and I'm not all you guys can quite clearly hear that I am not an O'Sullivan fan at all. I think he's a dreadful human being. But he looks at the regular season almost as a means by which to tinker so that he's ready to play in the postseason. Like, even when they're bad, they go on runs in the postseason. They'll come out of a regional as a 3 seed and win. Because I think he spends the entirety of the year figuring out the sequencing of the arms that you're talking about and how he's going to want to use them when the games really do matter.
Seems like it happens often that these weekend arms leading into a series or a one-off against us, wherever the setting might be, they got no clue what they're doing on the weekend, but then they've got 5 dudes on a Tuesday, and you just go, well, where?
But, I mean,
using them on a Saturday ever, pal?
I know, it's crazy. He tinkers with the young arms all throughout the year in the midweek games. They lose all the time. But they don't against us, man. They will roll out 99 for that ass over and over again. That's the third guy throwing 90. Hey, he's a freshman. How about that?
Well, and it comes down to, on the other side for us, as we pitch the one big inning. I mean,
you lost the game in the third inning.
5 singles in an inning, and it'll hurt your feelings. That doesn't often happen, and analytics heads will tell you that is an outlier of outliers. You got to make a pitch at some point and get out of that inning. The one thing that you could counter with, if you watched the game last night, is you saw a lot of exit velocity and a lot of loud outs for the Gators as well. In addition to the big inning, there were several innings where you go,
They could have blown the game open. Link said it.
Yeah.
He said it afterwards. I mean, listen, if we're being really honest about that game last night, we're lucky to lose 6-3. They could have gotten absolutely pasted in that game. I don't – at the time they took Abraham out, I was of the mindset that that's too soon. I mean, looks like he's trending to be your midweek starter, to be the guy. But I believe, based on what I witnessed last night, that they don't want that. They want him to be a long arm out of the bullpen for the rest of the year in the big weekend series.
They are hell-bent on pairing an ace with a top pitcher that can go multiple innings.
Yeah, so you agree. So, yeah, to me, but you just got your answer. 35 pitches.
Right. You've lengthened him to be a starter, and you brag about how many guys that you have lengthened up to 60 or 65 pitches, and then you never use them for 60 or 65 pitches. I mean, if he's going to be lengthened to be a starter, then let him start. Let him go 4 or 5. I mean, this is where I would say, is it a midweek game? Absolutely. But from an RPI standpoint, is this a giant opportunity on a Tuesday? Yeah. This is not playing Jacksonville. This is not playing Mercer. This is not playing UNF. If you win this game, I get where it is in the actual weekly schedule. It's a Tuesday night. But that's going to help you when it comes to tiebreakers and you're talking about national seeds and things of that nature. So there's value in letting him go 4 innings last night if you wanted to. But look, the thing is, I'm not trying to second guess in the moment because that's their plan before the night started. They clearly are favoring him to be paired with Wes. And unless things go really well or really poorly on Friday, then you pair him with Trey Beard in game 2. But he is their top arm out of the pen.
Yeah, and they are going to, I'm going to guess, moving forward, absolutely treat these Tuesday games, these midweek games, with a chance to let the young guys pitch and you get a sequence of a bunch of. And I'm actually totally okay with that. I hate that the Florida game is relegated to that, but that's not Link's fault, and that's that goes all the way back to Florida doing that way back when Arnold was there. It's a long time ago. Their old coach. But yeah, I hate that we don't get the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday series that we used to have. If you don't want to do that, just make it a 3-game series. You really could. You could play a Friday here, a Saturday over in Jacksonville, and a Sunday down in Gainesville. You could do it all in one weekend very easily. It's not hard. It's not difficult. It's not taxing. You could do it. If you didn't want to do that, you just make it a home and home every, it's 3 here 1 year, 3 there the next year, and just do it. I mean, they should, but they don't. And so both managers really kind of just treat that game as if it's any other midweek game. I mean, Sully does too. Sullivan does too. He's going to roll out 7 arms. That's what he's going to do. Now, it just sucks that every time he brings one in, it's better than ours. It's always somebody throwing 98, and they, again, dictate fastball, 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 fastball. It's they wipe you out with the breaking ball after they've established the fastball, and that's the way you watch professional pitchers operate. That's the philosophy, is to dictate terms from the mound with the fastball.
It's probably just something to ask Posey at this point. He's been here long enough.
Yeah. It's just that follows almost to a T the script we see down in Gainesville when we go down there. But that said, we'll have a much more vetted and honest assessment of where the program's at, where the team's at, having played that game and the 3 coming up this weekend. You'll walk out of that 4-game stretch and you'll say, all right, I like this, don't like that, worried about this, excited about that. You're going to have a much better assessment.
My man was overmatched in his 1 at-bat, but his first time he played in a week. Nice to see Brody D available to come off the bench. We're going to need more pop. That's nice. That's nice to be in that conversation now, because with him and Sheffield and Dowd, you got some pieces there in the outfield, and we'll see. Stutzer's going to be up and down.
Yeah,
the base running thing last night was killer, but there are different base running mistakes that can be made. From a true freshman, not thrilled with getting thrown behind because the back pick was already on a couple of times earlier in the game.
Yes.
Hope you were watching earlier than that. Maybe you weren't intently watching from the top of the dugout. That would be something that old Keith Hernandez would be furious about. Were you not watching the game from the top of the dugout? He's already tried the move. You've got to know. But for a true freshman, you can live with that. It's just nice to have that bat back in the conversation. You're going to need some pop and somebody who can speed up against the velocity. Delamalier has already proven he can do that. You should see him, I would imagine, at least twice this weekend.
Yeah, the 5 singles is not ideal. I mean, you mustered very little pop last night, and you were absolutely overwhelmed by Florida's pitching. And when you have, I think the stat was 4 of the last 5 pitchers that came in for Florida hit 100 on the gun. Okay. So you got 5 of those, do you? That's a problem, Tom. You're getting out-recruited. You're getting seriously out-recruited. Out-evaluated, out-recruited. It's Jeff Cameron, Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your business doesn't stop, and neither does IOI's. From the trusted owners of Mac & More Systems, IOI's offers 24/7 IT support, cybersecurity monitoring, HIPAA and compliance consulting, cloud data management, phone systems, and full network design and security. For healthcare, finance, legal industries, IOI specializes in keeping sensitive industries protected and connected. Local service, major protection. Visit IOIs.com today and discover why smart businesses trust IOIs.
Injured? Call attorneys who care. Facing Brooks. Offices, Tallahassee.
It's the start of pollen season. Come in and test drive a new Craft Nissan in March. Let us appraise your car and get a free Star Wash every week for a month. We have 0% for 60 months on all 2026 Rogues and Muranos, or 1.9% for 60 months on all 2026 Frontiers and Pathfinders.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, T-SparkConstruction.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those darn leaks. Call 850 766-134. G-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. G-Spark Construction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
We're ready to rock and roll at the 2026 Florida Lineman Competition. Join us at Appalachia Regional Park in Tallahassee on March 14th and cheer on your hometown heroes. Line crews from across Florida will compete in exciting events that showcase the skill, teamwork, and training it takes to keep our communities powered. Bring the whole family and find all the details at calgov.com. See you at the Florida Lineman Competition.
Hey, it's Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. If you work hard to serve our community, whether you're a teacher, a nurse, firefighter, police officer, or first responder, or even a city or county employee, I've got some great news for you. Florida's Hometown Heroes program can help you buy a home with down payment and closing cost assistance up to $35,000, depending on where you live and work. It's a way to say thank you to the people that keep Florida running, and I'm proud to help local heroes take advantage of it every day. Don't assume you don't qualify. Let's find out together. I'll walk you through the process, show you how to combine these benefits with the right mortgage plan, and help you make that dream of homeownership a reality. Let's get started. You can reach me at 954-369-6171. That's 954-369-6171. I'm Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage, helping our hometown heroes find their way home.
Tired of calling 1-800 numbers just to get put on hold? Flush those numbers down the drain and call Terry West Plumbing and Septic Services, now offering Terry's Toilets, providing clean, reliable porta potties for any job site, special event, or backyard party. Real local people doing real work. No robots, no AI, no call centers. For all your septic services and portable restroom needs, one local call wipes away the competition. Call 850-510-8558. That's 510-8558. Or visit terrywestplumbing.com. When you call, we answer.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
It was a rough night for my fandom. The United States gets beat down because they had no idea going into the game that it was going to matter. Good God, I like D-Row a lot, but that was humiliating. I mean, the interview prior to the game with Italy, he tells the world, hey, look, we want to win the game because even though we've punched our ticket to the next round, which you hadn't. And then you manage the game as if you hadn't. When you look at the lineup, you look at the matchups, you look at the not pinch running for Goldschmidt. There's so many things they clearly didn't know until it was too late. And you lose that game, and now we'll see. You need some help. We know that.
He told you that he did know.
No.
He just misspoke.
Yeah.
He just misspoke in the morning interview, but he knew all day that their ticket was on the line. Potentially.
Yeah, that was bad. Our Lightning lose again, which is a daily occurrence these days. Knowles fall. Kicking the balls last night from a fandom standpoint, buddy. That was tough. It's all right. It's a midweek.
You got Hoops and Cal tonight, man. That's what you got. Hoops versus Cal.
And I'm excited about that. I am.
And Duke did announce that a couple of very big contributors to the rotation are not available for the ACC tournament or longer. And in the case of one, you're losing a center, you're losing a guard. I mean,
dare to dream is what you're telling me?
After tonight. A lot of times you dream about this whole big thing that's going to happen, and then you quad the first hole, and your tournament's over before you start.
That's a toughie. We're out of it.
So let's make a solid par tonight and beat Cal by 6, and then say...
No. I want this to be a rocking chair game, Tom. Let's go ahead and whoop that ass.
I need to save everything we got for tomorrow in terms of our best. Just it's the solid game. It is the professional game. It is yes, you can keep fouling if you wish, but we understand, Cal, that this game is over. So it's just your choice if you want to prolong your season before you hit the beach. But please, by all means, let's start the handshake line now. We have won. Give me that game, that result, and then let's go all out tomorrow night if we can get the win.
I'm seeing in the chat people talking about my NIL conversation. Miami played for the football natty and isn't part of the P2. Houston played in the basketball natty, isn't P2. They spend like it. They spend like it for sure. I love this basketball team enough to want to see them keep playing for playing's sake, because they've kind of won you over both with their heart, their guts, the turnaround, but also style of play is fun to watch. They're a fun team to watch. I'd love to see them rewarded with an ACC tournament victory, not just because it means we're staying alive, which is great, but they feel like they've earned it. They've earned a few wins in this here thing. Turned it around. I'd love to see him put a scare in the committee, right? Oh, man, we got to reassess Florida State a little bit here. They're on a run in the ACC tournament, although I do know for a fact that most of these tournaments that are the non-mid-majors, the for money tournaments, as I call them, don't really mean anything at all. At this point, you're pretty much what you are. Most of these big power conference tournaments don't matter at all.
It can be a tiebreaker for those that are absolutely on the edge of the bubble.
Yeah,
that's what it serves as. It's not a breeding ground for somebody to come from the pack and emerge out of nowhere that are in the third to last four out. And you're like, no, we've got to put them in. Unfortunately, I don't think you can do that, which is why, as we've talked a lot, if you had just scored a couple more key victories on your home court, you might actually be in that conversation where beating Cal tonight and beating Duke tomorrow would be maybe enough. We're not quite there, though.
It's unfortunate, but I also don't want to play the game of looking back and saying, well, we shouldn't have scheduled the way we did, because, again, you can always argue that maybe they wouldn't have come out at the way they have and been as tough mentally and physically as they turned out to be had they not learned those very valuable lessons that playing difficult competition exposes, right? You find out these things that you aren't and that you have to adjust to, and other ways of playing. Like if you had gotten by with a bunch of wins against substandard teams, you wouldn't have known that you were a fraud, and then all of a sudden that would have been exposed in a way, and maybe you wouldn't have had this feel-good story that we see today.
I just wonder for next season, how do you install your plan B? How early do you install your plan B as you train throughout the offseason? Because I would imagine that while they probably learn some valuable stuff that they're going to take with them anyway and integrate into their style of play next year, that they still want the three ball to be a big part of the equation. You're getting better shooters on campus. You're getting better talent in here. The offense does generate quite a lot of open and in-rhythm threes. We're just terrible at hitting them with this particular group of players. So next year, I think they're going to try to do that again. But do you go all the way to the approach that they were shooting for this year? Have you learned something that carries a hybrid approach from where we are right now to where you want to be next year? That'll be the fascinating behind-the-scenes discussion. Usually Luke is pretty open about sharing those meetings, though, which I'll be interested to hear how he thinks about it.
Well, I don't think there's any question that it'll be an adjustment. You're bringing in a 7-foot, 280-pound center. That alone changes the way you're going to play the game. That'll dictate an awful lot. You brought in, that's the other part. We talk about this. It's a feel-good story, true, and hopefully it's a catalyst for more feel-good. But honestly, there are no guarantees, because trying to ride true freshmen in an era where the teams you're playing against just portal, and bring grown-ass men in and pay them gobs of money. See Kentucky paying $20+ million for their roster just to suck. This is what happens. A lot of coaches don't like to develop and, stand behind and go through the growing pains of freshman to a sophomore to a junior, the way that we used to watch teams be built. So the reason I bring that up is you'll often have kind of kids playing against grown-ass men if you're reliant on those young players to be the bulk of what you're trying to do. Florida State's bringing in a bunch of talent, but they're going to be 18 years old, and you're going to be playing against 21 and 22-year-olds. So that means in the portal, he's got to find some money Lord knows he's not getting it from rev share. So he's going to have to find even more money than he's found to lure these kids to come play for him and bring in 3, I would think, real veteran players, including like a strong point guard. And, so you're going to have to get, they've got work to do, is my point.
Well, you could, if you retain Somerville, he could help you with the point, and he could run it there after another year in the system. But I think they've got the money to do it, oddly. Luke has been
he's found a way.
Yeah. He's been confident that if they need to do something, that they can do something. I just wonder what the plan is individually for these players in the way of multi-year builds for their career. Are all of them created equally, that you're looking at 2 or 3 years at Florida State? Are some of them potentially going to be here for just the one season? I wonder how they internally project how that's all going to come together, because if you have a chance for them to play together and get used to each other,
that'd be great.
It could blossom into something really fun. You could point to how great talent but inexperience can bite you. The year that we had Beasley and Bacon, we did not make it. That was one of our worst defensive teams that we've had in the last 25 years.
That's another aspect of this, is that you're bringing in a lot of guys that can score, and a lot of times those guys don't always buy into the defensive side of the basketball because they haven't had to. Wherever they've gone and starred, they did so because of their offensive prowess and the ability to put the ball in the bucket. And so getting them to embrace the other side, it can be difficult. It's plus you're dealing with different kinds of egos at this point. This is a humble group because, they're cast-offs from other places, largely. And now you're going to bring in kids, stars in their own right, that have largely been stars because of their offensive prowess, and you're going to have to get them to commit the other way. Now, Luke and staff have done a great job of connecting so far. So let's hope that certainly they're able to do it even with a very young group. But I'll be very interested to see who they do try to go out and get in the portal. I agree and disagree with you about he has the money. It's relative, of course. We're both right here. He has some money. He's had access to some money.
It ain't Kentucky money, but
it's not the girth fund that Duke has or whatever the hell.
No, well, at some point, isn't there going to be the article that says that everybody's figured out that this is such an inefficient spend for basketball at some point?
Well, I think all of college athletics will find that out, because largely the people that donate all of the money these schools rely on are the same people. And at some point, even billionaires are like, I don't know, man, I gave you $300 million last year.
That's where the NIL go and the CSC thing that's being challenged now by Nebraska.
Of course it is.
What you're learning a little bit more is how corporate interests are replacing the billionaire boosters, or the boosters that have 8 figures to their name that they want to make sure that they are invested on a year-to-year basis. It's now starting to point more towards corporate relationships where I forget the term for
MMR?
Well, yeah, yes, those particular organizations. But what I'm saying is it's turning towards that trend of services rendered come later. We're buying your rights for later when you actually matter and you come on somebody's radar. We're going to do the autograph shows and the memorabilia then. For now, we're going to front you the cash, and then when you succeed, we're taking a calculated risk. Then your ass is ours when we can actually sell some stuff and make some money off of you. That's what's going on right now with corporate interests. I think was it Playbill or Play something along those lines is the one that is affiliated with Nebraska, where they consolidated 18 players together. And now they're challenging the thing in court that we were all wondering about challenging. They're going through the arbitration process with the CSC to see if their contracts being rejected should have been rejected. It's going to be a fascinating thing to watch over the next month.
Well, and just yesterday, that very group, the CEO anyhow of the College Sports Commission, came out and said that they're encountering unexpected challenges, Tom. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Now, here's your Tallahassee.
oil changes, and everything else under the hood. Call Nice Tire and Auto today at 574-4100. That's 574-4100 for your scheduled maintenance. National accounts welcome at Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Blountstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
You probably already know that Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas is your one-stop destination for all pool maintenance needs, offering everything you need from chemicals, cleaners, vacuums, nets, and more. That's not all. Pinch a Penny also carries a huge selection of premium hot springs hot tubs paired with easy financing options, making these luxury hot tubs affordable for everyone. And if you have an older hot tub and you're worried about the hassle of removing it, worry no more. Pinch a Penny will not only remove and haul away your old hot tub, but also offer a trade-in value for a credit towards your new one. So why wait? Visit Pinch a Penny's 12,000 square foot showroom today on Greer Road and discover how effortless and affordable owning a fantastic hot tub can be. Find out more at TallahasseeHotSpring.com. That's TallahasseeHotSpring.com.
What's up, buddy? I was just thinking. They never tell you that when you grow up, one of the things that you'll miss are the games that you created with your friends in the neighborhood.
Wow, good days.
So I would have my buddy come over, and then we'd make up these games that were kind of like a hodgepodge of every game that you've ever played.
Kind of like the bikes we built.
Correct. Yes. And experiment. In the beginning, nobody knows how to play the game, and you argue. At the end, everybody knows how to play the game. By the end of that summer, you know the rules. The neighborhood know the rules. And you play that game like it's the greatest game ever played.
And they still try to break the rules, right?
Oh, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But at the end, Eddie, you're never going to play it again, and you'll think about it the rest of your life.
And the best game you ever played was that game.
Never been a better one.
Hey, you want to have a Gordo Smash, Jeff?
I do. I'd like that.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Referenced it a moment ago, so from the article in the New York Times today, the CEO of the College Sports Commission, the new body charged with approving athletes' outside name, image, and likeness deals, said Tuesday that the organization's encountering unexpected challenges due to a surge of school-affiliated deals that may not comply with the rules the schools themselves establish. Brian Seeley, former Major League Baseball executive hired to oversee compliance with last year's House settlement, said the system not designed to handle so many deals in the recent football portal window that were made by associated entities, such as collectives, multimedia partners, and apparel providers. By the way, let's go, Nike. Florida State needs your help. Pony up. Some of these deals guaranteed players millions of dollars without having received approval through NIL Go. Yes. In fact, not only have some of those deals allowed for players to make millions of dollars, they've been flaunted by said schools, bragged about openly, and talked about in a means by which to lure coaches from one place to another. Hey, listen. Rev share's rev share. Everybody's got the same rev share. But we've got over here $10, $15, $20 million to add to the coffers to ensure your roster's loaded. See Lane Kiffin to LSU. See the Duke quarterback going to Miami and getting paid allegedly over $4 million. You think that is a deal that is fair market value? You think that's something that falls under those parameters? Or do you think it's just strictly pay for play, money given by an organization for a player to come in and play football, not by what the actual marketing deal is worth? Right. It's exactly that. And, this is commonplace at a lot of places right now, not as much here. Nebraska had 18 football players who were in the process of challenging the CSC's rejection of a deal totaling millions of dollars. Quote, the massive increase in associated deal volume of this kind in manufactured NIL is leading to some increased review times in NIL Go, right? I don't think the system was designed with this amount of associated deals in mind, right? And they're all everyone you shoot down is challenging you in your court, and you're going to lose. You're going to lose. And we already know it.
Yeah, that's the whole thing with the Nebraska sequence of events is they're going to arbitration right now through the parameters of the College Sports Commission. And if that arbitrator says that the deal is improper, that's when the true legal challenge, the suing, will occur. Because you got two problems here. Number one, I don't think it's going to hold up in court.
Correct.
Number two, not everybody signed the punishment agreement anyway. So
Correct.
how can you levy punishment? How does this mean anything?
It doesn't. Under the terms of the settlement, college athletes are required to submit any NIL deal from a third-party entity, those outside of a school's direct revenue sharing cap. You guys hear us talk about that a lot. So anything over $600 has to go to the NIL Go platform. How arbitrary is that? Well, your deal is $622 if you come to the local pet store and encourage people to adopt. Oh, I don't know. Can we make that $599? I don't want to have to submit this through NIL Go. Maybe you just pull a 20 out of your pocket.
Reminds me of going back to the airport about 5-6 years ago. So 6 feet, huh? Because that lady is hacking up a lung, and I'm not sure 6 feet's going to cut it here. How did we just choose that? It's like the average Westerner's height, and we just lay down? Like, couldn't have been 8? Couldn't have been 3?
Those deals do not count toward a school's annual revenue sharing cap, which is roughly $20.5 million for the 2025-2026 academic season. We know that. CSC's latest data published yesterday included deals submitted in January and February, showing an increase in the number of deals submitted, which Seeley said coincides with the college football transfer portal window. You don't say. It's almost like people were able to induce an athlete at one school to come to another school because they gave them money, more money, $2 million, $3 million, $4 million, far beyond the $600 that would have caused the CSC to be in a tizzy. Seeley added, it's an encouraging sign because it suggests athletes are reporting deals and utilizing the system, even though we're overwhelmed right now. It's encouraging that we're overwhelmed because people are reporting the deals. See? You notice that the increase in third-party deals from associated entities, which is subject to increased scrutiny for approval. It's led to longer reviews. The guidelines aren't as clear as we'd like them to be currently, and we're having to go back and reassess all of this. A person working within the NIL space told The Athletic that those deals take several weeks to process, and even then are often returned with the need for more information. So how is it he's getting $4 million to play for you this year? We need some more information. Please. We need greater clarity. CSC reported that through the end of February, NIL Go has cleared more than 21,000 deals worth a combined $166.5 million, but has not cleared another 711 deals worth over $29 million. So we're going to be looking at February, more than 3,700 deals worth $39.3 million. There's another 187 deals worth $14.4 million that are still having to be looked at. 50% of submitted deals have been resolved, either cleared or not cleared, since the advent back in June of NIL Go. Within 24 hours, 70% have been resolved within a week. They're trying to wrangle it, get it done. Ole Miss quarterback Trinidad Chambliss did a national AT&T commercial. Arch Manning, Warby Parker. I didn't see the Arch Manning Warby Parker. All right, that's eyeglasses, right?
It is. Yeah. Now you will, because it'll be on your feeds.
They didn't resolve the associated entities there, but a deal from a booster-led NIL collective does. Many third-party NIL deals also originate from multimedia rights. That's what we were just talking about. MMR partners such as Learfield or Playfly. I'd like to
Playfly. That's what it was. Yeah.
I'd like to read legends in that list of things there that are getting some deals done. Apparel sponsors can do that. Nike can do it. And we talked about the need to unbutton the wallet and figure out new revenue streams to pay players above and beyond rev share.
Well, what is it about us right now that would make us worth doing more if you're Nike? Nike has a lot of programs. Like, if we call
you've
up,
seen the ratings, Tom.
Well, you call up Nike and you're like, hey, we need you to part with some more money for our players. Like, man,
I don't know. I think they would. And we better be doing that. That very thing should be happening. Should be right now. If I called Michael Alford right now, I ought to be not able to get a hold of him because he's on the phone with Nike trying to get more money. That ought to be what he's doing right now. I mean, we need it, clearly. Look at these pictures. We need it. Damn it, man. Florida's trotting out 5 and 6 guys throwing 99.
I don't know, man. I think if you wouldn't be, for several reasons, the phone would not be transferred through.
Oh, if I called, you don't think?
Several reasons.
Uh-huh.
One of which may be...
I'm busy talking to Nike.
No. One of which is it's you. And another of which is perhaps they're drafting language for the next Board of Trustees meeting in which they're going to give updates on how good things are going for NIL Go and the CSC. Could be some positive stories for us to consume through the BOT meetings.
There are those in the industry claiming that some football programs will spend north of $40 million on their roster this year. That's more than double the full revenue share pool for every sport in the entire athletic department, meaning a lot of that money, a majority of it for some schools, would be earmarked from third-party over-the-cap deals. How are they doing it? It's forbidden. How's it being done? Why do they keep doing this?
We've turned into Hans.
Yeah. Oh, Fraunhofer, I'm so tired. Yeah, it's rough, man. And then you sit back and think, man, I don't think the cavalry's coming. Nobody's going to help us here. The courts have told you time and again.
I got to tell you, I'm amazed at how many thousands of deals have actually been submitted, even though we don't have consensus that the rules can be enforced.
Oh,
I'm not saying that I would encourage.
There are thousands that have not been submitted, I assure you.
Oh, I know it. And they're going to be sending letters saying, where's the deal? I know there's one over here.
Lost it. Don't know what to tell you. Pound sand. Click.
I'm not saying that if I was an athletic director, I'd say, let's go out of our way to be a-holes about being rogue. But if the CSC enforcement has no teeth until every member institution signs the CSC deal, and right now several state legislatures are getting their hands on them because they've got rules within their own state, Nebraska being one of them, I do believe, that prohibitions on this money. If it's not enforceable, what's the point? I guess is the super simple way of asking the question. Because right now, the punishments are not enforceable.
What's the point for a very long time? I've been saying, damn it, man, this isn't enforceable. Stop trying to play by the rules. All the people you seek to compete with and have to compete with in order to win and win big and win in recruiting, etc., are ignoring this because they know it's not enforceable. And yet we are adhering to the rules and getting bent over. It's not ideal. It's the kind of thing that leads athletes to go elsewhere and coaches to decide, can I win here? That's what it does. I think, a good example would be for all of us is that I think we should be thankful that Link is a Florida State graduate and a lover of this university. Because I think right about now, he's looking around, and if he played a regular SEC schedule and he saw those 5 teams that I'm talking about at the top of that conference, he'd go, this isn't a fair playing field. I don't have anything that resembles that. Now, you can win. He's won, and you can compete at a high level, but you're really going to have to do more with less. And my fear from an evaluation and recruiting standpoint, given some of the losses in the front office, the further removed we get from a certain evaluator that is now with the Tigers, and the further removed down the road we are with the money being the situation that it is, the less likely we are to have the Jamie Arnolds of the world here. And this is going to be a problem. This is going to get worse, not better. I think we could apply this fear that we have for Florida State's set of circumstances across sports. You know, we already know what it is in basketball. That's why we're praising Luke, because he's somehow found a way to get these kids to come here next year, and there's no money for basketball, not from the university, not from RevShare. And how long will there be money for Luke when the new car smell wears off if he doesn't win and win pretty soon?
Well, and if he does, then he's going to ask himself the
question that I just brought up.
The very tough question.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's disconcerting.
Were we going to, I think the most fun question of them all is, were we really prepared to abandon all of these principles if Lane Kiffin was willing to meet with us and take a second meeting? Were we willing to abandon this stance in totality?
Well, apparently.
Okay.
Well, which is it?
Right.
Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show. 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. I almost coughed.
Craving something different? Discover the bold and surprising flavors of Peru at Café de Martín. From sizzling lomo saltado to savory handmade empanadas, every dish is made with heart, history, and soul. Crafted by classically trained Chef Martín himself. It's not just food. It's a trip to Peru without the plane ticket. Swing by Café de Martín today and taste the tradition. Café de Martín. Authentic Peruvian. Right around the corner.
You probably already know that Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas is your one-stop destination for all pool maintenance needs, offering everything you need from chemicals, cleaners, vacuums, nets, and more. But that's not all. Pinch a Penny also carries a huge selection of premium hot springs hot tubs paired with easy financing options, making these luxury hot tubs affordable for everyone. And if you have an older hot tub and you're worried about the hassle of removing it, worry no more. Pinch a Penny will not only remove and haul away your old hot tub, but also offer a trade-in value for a credit towards your new one. So why wait? Visit Pinch a Penny's 12,000 square foot showroom today on Greer Road and discover how effortless and affordable owning a fantastic hot tub can be. Find out more at TallahasseeHotSpring.com. That's TallahasseeHotSpring.com.
Services, conferences to call away. 222-7722. AC and electric is what we do. Service repairs and installation too. 27722. Parker Services. Conferences to call away.
Invest in a Peak Performance membership and you'll buy peace of mind in knowing that you're extending the life of your system and probably saving money on your power bill too. Program includes coverage that helps the power system running at its maximum efficiency. And Peak Performance members get many benefits, including priority service. Members jump to the front of the line when their comfort system fails. And a 15% discount on all parts. The Peak Performance membership pays for itself over and over again. Call today and have peace of mind. And now offering electrical services too. License number CMC 050334.
Love to compete with the dartboard? Then it's time to head to the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. It's Tallahassee's premier dartboard featuring steel tip boards and soft.
Your Sports Flash update on Real Talk 93.3 in Tallahassee.
NFL football, the Jacksonville Jaguars are keeping linebacker Dennis Gardeck as he is re-signed with the team. He tore his ACL while playing for the Cardinals in 2024, signed a one-year deal with the Jaguars, ended up appearing in every game, starting 9, including the playoff loss to the Bills, 48 tackles, 2.5 sacks, and also a forced fumble during the regular season. NBA basketball, what a performance it was last night for Bam Adebayo. He scores 83 points. That's the second most in NBA history, only behind Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point night. Heat knocked off the Wizards 150-129. Heat are going to host Milwaukee coming up on Thursday. This Sports Flash is presented by Progressive. Bundle auto and home, renters, or condo insurance and save with Progressive. I'm Matt Pauley on Real Talk 93.3.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. All kinds of beers, thousands of wines. Guys in the know, and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck with.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have the old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
Hey, this is for my homeowner friends out there. You know who you are. When you get your grass cut, you're going to inspect the work, make sure it's good. Get your house painted, check around every corner and edge, make sure that's done right. Get a new roof. My friend Greg Miller, Miller Septic. They're my guys. I trust them, and you can too. MillerSeptic.com. That's it. That's the commercial. That's the whole thing. Check them out. It's MillerSeptic.com. All right, folks, if you're looking for a good excuse to play Seminole Legacy Golf Course and feel good about it, I've got one for you. Proud to be part of the FICW Golf Invitational coming up April the 13th at Seminole Legacy Golf Club here in Tallahassee. It's a Monday, which, let's be honest, perfect day to have a meeting on the course, if you will. Check-in starts at 8:30, shotgun at 10, features, putting challenge, awards, silent auction, oh, kit and caboodle. The tournament supports education and training for child welfare workers across the state of Florida, and part of the proceeds go right here locally to the Oasis Center for women and girls. So you're playing golf, but you're also doing some good. It's $300 for an individual, $1,100 for a foursome. Grab your guys, grab clients of yours, and just come out and play. We're proud to sponsor it. I'd love to see some familiar faces out there. Tom and myself will be playing in this thing too, alongside PGA professionals Tom Shea and Jane Geddes, FSU Hall of Fame legend Jane Geddes. So come join us and have a good time for a great cause. You can register at ficw.fsu.edu/golf. April the 13th, the first ever Florida Institute for Child Welfare Golf Tournament. We'll see you there.
Pay-per-view fights can ring up big bills, especially since in the Octagon there is one every few weeks. That's why the Seventh Hill Tap Room right downstairs from Corner Pocket Bar and Grill carries every single fight. Plus, unlike most pay-per-view bars, there's no cover charge. And drink specials too, like $3 select domestic beers and more. And if you enjoy international soccer, Seventh Hill opens early. $2 mimosas on Sundays, anyone? The Seventh Hill Tap Room, 2475 Appalachia Parkway, just downstairs from Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Go back for a second here on the larger CSC challenge and all of those things that are happening in the world of college athletics, which make life difficult for Florida State and many others for that matter. Saw in the chat, yes, Dustin, we are both well aware, Tom and I, that Kiffin was never coming here. That's why it was a laughable comment from the athletic director. And I don't think that conversation ever happened.
What it signals, though, is that there's a willingness to just, in theory, if it could happen, not give one crap about any of the cap or the CSC. That's all I'm saying. It's just very situational, this whole thing with the CSC.
Quote, there's no question that during the portal, agents were demanding guaranteed NIL for student athletes, and schools felt pressure to guarantee those things, even though such guarantees are not within the rules. I think any athletic director would tell you that, quote, unquote, from Mr. Seeley. Challenges with the NIL go, and this is where it matters most. This is the point we've been making all along. Third-party deals are just two of the persistent obstacles that the CSC has faced since the settlement took effect just last summer. The other big one is, participant agreement, which requires the participating schools to cooperate with investigations. They're not. It requires them to enforce the decisions that are made by the CSC. They're not. One of those requirements is that not only do they adhere to those rules, follow those rules, and adhere to the CSC's investigation, it also is supposedly there in place to prevent them from filing lawsuits like the one Nebraska just filed. They were, under the rules of the CSC, not allowed to challenge the CSC's rules once enforced. But that agreement was not signed by all the participating schools, to Tom's point last hour.
And it needs to be signed. They don't need a majority for the rules to apply to all schools. You need everybody to sign it.
Everybody who's in has to sign it.
So it hasn't taken effect. That's why I find it curious that NIL Go, the CSC clearinghouse, is actually having deals submitted to them at all, let alone in the thousands, because it has not taken effect. These policies don't have any teeth right now. They by rule do not.
Well, Tom, the CSC's enforcement arm has conducted investigations into various programs, so says the CSC. And curiously, the CSC, despite, and I believe the quote I'm reading here from the article is, conducted investigations to, several investigations into any number of deals that seemed certainly outside the parameter of these rules. And yet, there have been no known violations or penalties handed down yet. Not one. Meanwhile, LSU, you didn't have to investigate this, told you they were doing it. Flaunted they were doing it. Does anybody think that Miami worked out a deal for some of its best players, including this new quarterback, that would fall under the rules of the CSC? Or do you think they just paid him to play? Quote, until we build structure to enforce the rules that are in place, we're just putting bandages over issues. You're not even doing that. That's from Ryan Day of Ohio State. You're not even doing that. Also, it wouldn't behoove Ohio State to play by the rules. They don't have to. Day goes on and says, my concern more than anything is that we're raising a young group of college coaches that see it that way. It's becoming their normal. Once we get it addressed, we can deal with everything else. But until then, we're going to have a situation where people will just try to get around the rules. They're not trying. They're doing it, and they're doing it boldly out in the open.
I'm sorry. I just take issue with the word rules. There aren't. You have to agree to play by the rules for the rules to take effect. There aren't rules right now. And what are you going to do? The moment that all member institutions decide to sign off and say, all right, we are now going to play by the rules, you're going to go back in time and punish schools for times when the rules weren't in.
No, they're not going to do that. And we've heard that trumpeted. We've heard people say, oh, well, the fear is that if you do violate the rules in order to keep up with the Joneses, that they're going to circle back and they're going to punish all of those schools that weren't following the rules. No, they're not, because they'll get sued to kingdom come. They're not going to.
And that's a really open and shut, easy case. Oh, so you mean the rules didn't take effect until everybody signed? That's right, Your Honor. And
Have a good day.
They would like to punish you for a time before then.
Have a good day.
That's right, Your Honor. Why are we here?
Quote, the participant agreement, this sounds like Jimbo getting promissory notes, is a key tool to giving the CSC the enforcement powers we need, said Mr. Seeley. That doesn't mean without the participant agreement it's impossible, but yeah, that's a capital B, capital U, capital T there, Mr. Seeley.
I'd like to change the subject.
I don't think you're going to see enforcement, at least not at the speed you'd like to see it. You don't say. How about not at all? You won't see it at all. There are currently 15 people on staff with the CSC. That's
its own joke.
That seems pretty funny, doesn't it?
So 15 people have had to clear 20,000 deals and reject several thousand others.
They're tired people. They're very tired people.
It's a lovely workflow.
They need some caffeine and speed. The CSC is trying to adapt and improve their operation, according to Mr. Seeley. The system, as he reiterated in this piece, is not designed to run like this. It's not designed to handle this. It is, up to this point, a failure. Now, he didn't say that, but I am. It didn't work because not everybody has signed the agreement. And nobody seems to, well, I shouldn't say nobody, we are. A lot of schools are not following the alleged rules.
With
that would.
Great enthusiasm, we are. With unmatched enthusiasm in the power sports world. I don't know if they've got another person that decides to take the first desk, first row, closest to the teacher's desk. I think it's got to be us. We're the ones sitting there, just like this. So, you know, Richard, you don't have to get here 30 minutes before class starts. I just like to be prepared.
Damn it, man. It is,
Can I clean the erasers for you?
It's aggravating, brother. But what bothers me more than anything else is, again, I mean, this adversely affects us in a massive way, and I just fear the longer it goes on, however long we're stuck here, and we fall further behind monetarily, the more I think you're going to see the effects on the field. Now, football, you'd say it can't get worse, right? But it will start affecting softball. It will start affecting baseball. It will start affecting soccer. It will start affecting the sports where we're actually good. It already has.
Yeah. I think it already has. In all of those places.
Well,
soccer may be the least of all of them.
Probably the least.
The least. But softball's already felt that pinch, I believe. Baseball already has, and Lord knows hoops is. You know what? I think it's nice to see that there's acknowledgement of the basketball program, because this time last year, about 14, 15 months ago,
yeah,
we stand somewhat behind Leonard Hamilton and his right to defend himself in the courts. Remember that?
Yeah.
Unattributed statement. Nobody's name was on it.
Yeah. Well, PR is not a strong suit of Florida State University. Not in the
who said it?
Not in the athletic
statement.
Department.
The following statement from who?
Yeah, it's something. I grow increasingly frustrated, but it's rarely that it's well, I shouldn't say rarely, because it's every Saturday on the football field. But having it, when you get the mercy of football off season, these days we call that a mercy, a blessing.
Mercy.
We call it a blessing when you don't have to worry about the football team.
Mercy, William.
We have to worry less and less about them because they don't allow us to. But the off season typically is your time to exhale, lament the system, gripe with your fellow Noles, bitch about how we're no longer relevant in football, whatever it might be. But then you turn your attention to other things and you figure you can escape, if only for a moment, just how bad off you are from an NIL standpoint until, last night Florida trots out 5 different guys throwing 100. It's right front and center in your face then. Here you go. Get you some of that. Get you some of that with your sorry ass breaking ball. There you go. Throw another one in the dirt. Throw another slider. Throw another changeup. Because nobody's coming after us with a fastball. We know that. because it's 92. But our guys are throwing 95 for that grill, and that's just getting loose. Here comes 99 on the heels of that. It's hurtful, Tom. I was particularly pissed watching that last night.
I think, I was raised in 12 years of religious education, and they would tell you, if you feel the call, if you feel called, you must answer. It is your obligation if you feel the call. I think you and fundraising, you're avoiding it, but it's a collision course. You might have to be the band leader to raise all of the funds to help shave this gap just a little bit. How about the JCS Spring Booster Circuit? There's opportunity. There are venues, I'm sure, that were booked where they had to cancel and they lost the deposit. No. How about you go out there and stuff for some cash?
Mine would be a visual presentation to go along with the oratory. Tom, I would have. So, guys, if you don't think your contribution means something, let's look up here at the screen. This is the University of Florida on a Tuesday night in the 5th inning, rolling out a kid many of you have never heard of. But if you'll note, he's a freshman, and he just threw the ball 99 miles per hour in a big situation. They probably could not have acquired that arm on the up and up. I'll tell you that right now. He's paid handsomely. But don't worry, there's more. This is in the 8th inning when we were threatening again, and we get two guys on, and the kid chuckles. You'll see him smile. Freeze it. Yes, he's smiling because he knows he throws 99, and this at-bat's over no matter what kind of hopes you might have otherwise. Here's 99 right past our guy. Here's 100. Here's 100. They weren't done. They brought another guy in. We don't have but one guy like that. His name is Stokes, and he came in from another school. He'll be with us for just 1 year. It was a great get, an amazing get, really. But that's all we got. Ain't nobody coming down the pike with anything close to this. So we're going to trick you with a bunch of breaking balls. Anyhow, that's Exhibit A. So please feel free to give freely this evening. And now, unfortunately, this is a tough part of the program. We're going to pull up some footage from last year's football season. This is where it gets tough, guys. Brace yourselves, but also break out your checkbooks because we can put an end to this nightmare today. Those of us who care deeply, we can put an end to it today. But I need your help. This is the game against Stanford. And then there's an audible gasp.
Oh, yeah. I'm going there.
I'm going there, guys. You need to know. Yeah, it's and then we would have to do it with basketball. See that kid dropping 40, whatever that was when we played NC State? He's paid well. Yeah, it would be tough. You can go through it. There'll be more instances like this. I don't want to be here this time next year having this same conversation with all of this video evidence. No, sir. I don't want to be here. Help end it tonight. Tonight, while I'm here in Tampa talking to you. Tomorrow I'm in Miami. And I'm going to address our brothers and sisters in Miami.
Tonight's second collection will be for the Florida State baseball bullpen.
Pitch a Penny Pools and Spas has something special for everyone that's been waiting to get a new hot tub. It's that Costco pricing. Go out there and find out for yourself. Go over to the massive showroom that you'll find off of Greer Street there, man. Greer Road, I should say, off Capitol Circle. When you go in there, it's a lap of luxury. Hundreds. Plus, they've got those cold plunge tubs that are all the rage these days to boot. So go along with the hot tubs and the cold plunge tubs. You get out in one, get in the other, get out in one, get in the other. You can do it. Costco pricing. Not for much longer. So if you want one of those, you got to go do it now. Get your ass up and go over there right now. Or when you get off work. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
It's where you raise your kids, where friends become family, where every corner has a story worth telling. It's your neighborhood. At ABC 27, we share those stories, bringing you news that connects communities, builds pride, and reminds us we're part of something bigger. We are ABC 27, in your neighborhood.
Hey, let let me tell you about my friends at Tried and True Consulting, a Seminole-owned business that specializes in payments and business solutions. Tried and True's core expertise includes card, ACH, point of sale, mobile, e-commerce, and hosted payment solutions. Tried and True will help you reduce costs and increase your bottom line. That sounds nice. Whether you're a retailer, restaurant, licensed professional, or service industry, Tried and True is saving you money. Tried and True's expertise extends to payroll, video menu ad boards, IT services, web design, and social media. It's time to make one call and tell the competition to take it on down the road. Call Don or Joe today at 844-464-6653. That's 844-464-6653. When you do business with Tried and True, they contribute 10% of the net revenue to the battle's end. So go Tried and True today. Call 844-464-6653.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test. Barry knows heating and air conditioning. Keeping you comfortable. Here's what Barry does best.
No matter how busy life gets, your home is the place where your family and friends show you they care and celebrate with you. That's why the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning always make sure your home is comfortable. Just like those who matter to you most, Barano will always be there for you.
This is Tyler from Barano Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, online at baranoac.com.
Florida license number CAC 1816186.
Barry knows heating and air conditioning.
All right, folks, if you're looking for a good excuse to play Seminole Legacy Golf Course and feel good about it, I've got one for you. Proud to be part of the FICW Golf Invitational coming up April the 13th at Seminole Legacy Golf Club here in Tallahassee. It's a Monday, which, let's be honest, perfect day to have a meeting on the course, if you will. Check-in starts at 8:30, shotgun at 10. They'll feed you. There's putting challenge, awards, silent auction, oh, kit and caboodle. The tournament supports education and training for child welfare workers across the state of Florida, and part of the proceeds go right here locally to the Oasis Center for women and girls. So you're playing golf, but you're also doing some good. It's $300 for an individual, $1,100 for a foursome. Grab your guys, grab clients of yours, and just come out and play. We're proud to sponsor it. I'd love to see some familiar faces out there. Tom and myself will be playing in this thing too, alongside PGA professionals Tom Shea and Jane Geddes, FSU Hall of Fame legend Jane Geddes. So come join us and have a good time for a great cause. You can register at ficw.fsu.edu/golf. April the 13th, the first ever Florida Institute for Child Welfare Golf Tournament. We'll see you there.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Hey, by the way, Tom, I know for a fact. Well, I don't know for a fact. I shouldn't say that. But I'm going to guess with a great degree of certainty that you saw nary a second of Bam Adebayo's 83 points last night.
Yeah. You could have taken that to the bank. I did see the conversation surrounding it as he was climbing up the ladder of point totals. And some of the conversation included, this is Bush League, this is ridiculous, this is a farce. Now, I don't know if that's true.
Oh,
because sometimes haters just hate.
No, they were intentionally fouling to get more possessions. Yeah, there were a lot of things that occurred that were suspect. I will say this. I can do both. I cannot hate in this situation and say 83 points is freaking 83 points. I mean, what are we doing? That's incredible. And then I can say Washington has lost 9 straight. It's one of the worst defensive teams in all of the NBA and is in the middle of tanking along with half the league, which is a problem for the sport, one that they've had to address and directly resulted in a guy being able to score 83 points. Yeah, that's all true too. He did still score. I mean, he still scored 83 points. Like, he had 30-plus points in the first quarter before all of the crazy shenanigans that happened late, calling time, all that stuff. He shot 46% from the floor, made just 7 of 22 three-point attempts, and still scored 83 points. It was a weird night. The United States gets beat by Italy in the World Baseball Classic, something maybe only I care about, but it was embarrassing because they didn't even realize it because the manager played the game as if it didn't matter, then found out late that it did. Oh, now we're in real danger of not being in the tournament without a little help. That ain't good. I was reading something this morning, and it made me laugh because I recently got done listening to an entire pod on the investigation of Wilt's 100-point game in Hershey, Pennsylvania. And, everything is a conspiracy these days. And what ends up happening is it gets loud enough to a point where somebody finally says, well, look, man, I'll dispel this for you. Here you go. And then lays out all the facts. And that's what this pod did about the 100-point game in Hershey, Pennsylvania for Wilt. Anyway, I won't bore you with that. But I did laugh because I was reminded that Adam Sandler said something funny, did a bit one time about a coach asking, who's guarding Wilt tonight? This is getting out of hand. He's got a lot of points. We're going to have to put somebody on Wilt, guys. I didn't realize it, but 2 months prior to Wilt scoring 100 points in that game in Hershey, he scored 78 against the Lakers. After the game, Frank McGuire was upset. And he said something about Wilt will score 100 points someday, even if the whole team guards him. He was prophetic. He got it right. That happened. The last 4 minutes, the Knicks stopped covering everybody else. The other great part of the whole bit was, you had the entire team just surrounding Wilt. He couldn't do anything about it. He had, in addition to his 100-point game in his career, did Wilt 78-point game, a 73-point game, 2 different 67-point games, and 10 other 60-plus point games. They changed the rules because of Wilt Chamberlain. And the other thing that happened last night that also happened the night that Wilt scored 100 was that he went to the free throw line a ton. Now, Wilt, in his career, was a 50% three-point shooter. Couldn't shoot free throws worth a damn. That night, he made 28 of 32. So magic in the air. And, when you go back, you look at some of these games, 63 shots are the record. Kobe Bryant never took more than 50 shots in a game. There have been 15 games where a player took more than 50 shots. 12 of those were Wilt. Pretty amazing, pretty staggering numbers. So you go to Bam's game last night. He took 43 shots, 16 more shots than he's ever taken in any game in his career. He made 20 of them, including 7 3-pointers. That's 47 points worth, which would have been Bam's career high. He had never scored more than 41 points in a game.
Wow, that's nuts. So he more than doubled his output last night of his highest score.
Made 36 of 43 free throws. 43 free throws. Most free throw attempts in a game, it was on display last night. Bam Adebayo. 43 versus Washington, 2026. Remember it. It'll be a trivia question. Dwight Howard with the Orlando Magic in 2013 took 39 free throw attempts. Dwight Howard again against Golden State in 2012, 39 free throw attempts. Here's one you wouldn't have guessed. If we were throwing it around, some of you might have guessed Wilt Chamberlain. Some of you might have even guessed Dwight Howard if you were really a big NBA fan. But I doubt you would have guessed number 4 on this list, Andre Drummond versus Houston in 2016, shot 36 free throws. Most free throws made in a single game, also on display last night. Bam Adebayo. 36 is the answer. Remember that too.
Did the game go 3.5 hours?
No.
That's a lot of free throws. And if Miami's fouling to extend the game late, I mean, my God.
You're going to listen to some of these numbers. This will blow you away. So most free throws made in a game, Bam Adebayo last night. Wilt Chamberlain made 28 in 1962 versus New York. Adrian Dantley, you're too young. You weren't alive. I saw Adrian Dantley play. This is where I feel old, everybody. I can specifically remember these moments, and I'm going to tell you about them now because it's funny to see my cohort's face when I start talking about things that I vividly remember from the early 80s, and he goes, what in the world? In 1984, I was 13 years old and a huge NBA fan, and Adrian Dantley took 28 free throws to be third on this list versus Houston, and that 84 Houston team was good. Adrian Dantley in 1983 had 27 free throws against Denver. That I don't remember. Adrian Dantley versus Dallas in 1980 had 26 free throws. He's number 3, 4, and 5 on the all-time free throws made list in a single game. So it should be noted he was only 6'5". Very different than the other two guys at the top of this list, Wilt and Bam. Attacked the basket at all times, shot 54% from the floor, and got fouled, obviously, a lot. Adrian Dantley was having none of your defense. You were going to foul me.
Always kind to the officials, too, apparently.
It is really hard to put into context the Bam Adebayo game because there is nothing in his career that suggested any of this was coming. It is a misnomer to say that Bam Adebayo isn't a good player. He is. He's a multi-time All-Star. He is a good player. But being a good player and then having this game are very different things. It's probably one of the most unlikely feats from a player of his caliber ever seen in basketball. Like when Kobe scored 81, nobody was shocked that Kobe scored 81. He took a gazillion shots all the time. He never met a shot he didn't like, right? And he was a volume scorer. So when he scored, and he was really good. And so you would see many nights in which Kobe would drop 50 or 46, and you'd be like, well, yeah, that's Kobe. He's good. So when it happened, you're kind of like, that's an amazing accomplishment, but it's understandable. Bam Adebayo, I think his career, he averages 16 points a game.
Yeah, for the Cobes, that was 20 years ago this year, yeah? Mm-hmm. I think it was. Because if I'm remembering correctly, I was at Seminole Oaks, which was the old Cash Hall, and my roommate Jay let me know that he's at 50-something. 50-something. And we didn't have the NBA pass. So we were both on our laptops refreshing the box score to just see if he would keep going. And it became this little fun game. Sipping on a beer, just 64, 60s. Oh my God, right, it's still going.
Yeah,
it's
I remember
still going.
Yeah. So various rankings, depending on where you want to look, have Bam Adebayo in the neighborhood of the 25th best player in the league, 30th best player in the league. I looked at a bunch of stuff today. Of course, I credit where credit's due. I checked Bill Simmons' list. I was like, I wonder what Bill Simmons has because he watches every single damn game. And yeah, he has him somewhere like 27th. Best player. So this really kind of comes out of nowhere. It doesn't make any sense. It is also the byproduct of a tanking NBA where things like teams scoring 150 points happen, because teams are out there just not even competing. And so I don't want to discredit Bam in the sense that if it was so easy, everybody would do it. They don't. But it is kind of odd. I saw Joe Pisanski equated it to a good player doing something amazing. The best example of it, perhaps Don Larson throwing a perfect game in the 1956 World Series. By way of comparison to Don Larson's career, that wasn't supposed to happen. You wouldn't have looked at him and be like, yeah, he's a candidate. Whereas if Nolan Ryan did it, you go, well, it's Nolan Ryan.
He's got the stuff to do it.
Yeah.
Well, it's like David Wells probably still over the legal limit throwing his perfect game.
That was crazy.
That is crazy. Nothing about his career suggests perfect game worthy. And apparently, as it goes, when he was in the Yankees clubhouse before the game started, David Cohn said, hide your face. You reek. Hide your face from Joe Torre. You're going to get scratched.
Well, wasn't that the day after the Saturday Night Live party?
It could have been.
I think it was. Yeah. He had been on Saturday Night Live and got hammered with the crew afterwards. Famously, that happened to a lot of people.
Yeah, that's what happens at SNL. Apparently, yes.
Yeah.
There's like 2 or 3 different after parties.
You get blitzed, yes. Yeah. And he did into the wee hours of the morning and then went and pitched a perfect game.
Yeah, and Coney said, if he sees you or smells you, you're scratched, dog. What are you doing? And then he threw the perfect game.
Sean Green of the Dodgers, remember him? Remember Sean Green?
Yeah, we traded for him in 2006 because we had to trade Xavier Nady to you. I remember. He had 40 home runs once.
Oh, Xavier Nady had a good little run with the Pittsburgh Pirates, sir. Sean Green once went 6 for 6 in a game with 4 home runs and 19 total bases versus the Milwaukee Brewers. There's a good example of what the hell? Sean Green, huh? So, that's more comparable. Sean Green, Bam Adebayo, probably same kind of thing, but going 6 for 6 with 4 home runs.
Here's some enlightening history in their first ever game. Chris Contos scored 4 goals for them. In the first game in their existence, they beat Chicago at the Fairgrounds 7-5, 7-4. That dude wasn't.
You're like,
he might have scored 70 goals in his career. 4 goals in one game, but it was pretty cool.
Some people equated it to Buster Douglas knocking out Mike Tyson. No.
What are these kids and assigning these things? That's insane. He would have had to score 102 last night for that to even be entertained.
I watched that. It's funny. That was it was in Japan and was that fight, by the way. And it was, I think, reshown on HBO at like midnight, something like that. If I remember that correctly, I may be off on the times. I just remember seeing that and being blown away, and they wouldn't even put odds on it. They wouldn't put any odds on it. He was just going to be another tomato can. But, of course, the thing about Buster, and I know a lot about him because I was infatuated with boxing back then. This was a guy that always had a vicious jab. But he was a fat ass who never prepared properly and often didn't reach his potential. There's so many trainers that loved him and thought he could be a great fighter, but he never realized that he was addicted to drugs. He ate too much. He often showed up out of shape. But there was glimmer. There was hope in there. There was something that he had. The Tyson fight happens. It's a chance for him to get paid and to get knocked out. But something funny happened on the way to the office. Mike's personal life was out of control. He had just famously lost Tony Atlas and others in his camp were not paying close attention to Mike's mess of a personal life with Robin Givens and cocaine and all the other stuff. He didn't take it seriously, and Buster Douglas's mom died. And Buster Douglas loved his mom and had promised his mother that he would see this through and be the best version of himself. So what Mike Tyson encountered was a Buster Douglas who had all the promise in the world and never realized it, who decided to get his ass in shape and take the fight seriously. And in round 1, you can hear the jabs hitting Tyson's face. They're echoing through the arena. The arena is in shock. The Japanese crowd is not as vocal as an American fight crowd. So they're sitting there in silence, and you're hearing the peppered jabs. Pa, pa. And each one I'm going, well, Jesus. I mean, he is hitting Mike's face hard. This is like, I know Mike's a bull, but, and they knew after round 1, like, we got a problem. You can hear the desperation in the corner. And they're talking about, hey, Mike, my man came to fight. This ain't what you thought it was going to be.
He's having his Bam Adebayo moment.
Yeah. This is, we got a problem here. But yeah, that's a fun fight to go back and watch. And then the fight, obviously, he has the moment where he gets caught by the uppercut. The dream for Buster is not going to happen. He gets up at just in the nick of time. He has to survive the rest of the round. He does. Gets back to the corner. Luckily, it was late in the round when he got knocked down. He survives a flurry of punches that Tyson comes after him with after knocking him down. He goes to the corner. He's getting his breath. He's, the water on his face, the whole deal. Mike, is going to swarm him as soon as they start the next round. You realize, he's going to go straight for it. Now, this is it. He's got his chance. He's looked bad, but he's going to get away with it. And he goes, and it's a flurry of punches, and Buster's fine. He's taking it, and he's right there. And then he counters. And there's another stiff jab to Mike's face, and you go, ooh, we got us something here. And we did. And he eventually knocks Mike out. And my favorite part is right after the fight ends, Larry Merchant famously interviewed fighters for HBO in the ring all the time and was never afraid. Larry Merchant was a guy that would ask tough questions of fighters, and they would often fire back at Larry Merchant. Hey, you never liked me, Larry. F you. Like right in the ring. You'd hear it. It was great. He kept saying to Buster, how could you have done this? How did you do this? How did you do this? And Buster Douglas starts bawling and says, I did it for my mama. And his voice cracking, and he's crying and crying. And Larry's trying to ask questions, and he's just unable to contain his emotions. It was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. It still moves me to this day thinking about it.
And do you think that if somebody who's 20 years old right now did a segment on a pod or a radio show 30 years from now, they'd be talking about the Bam Adebayo game?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think they're on the same level? No?
No, I don't think so. Oh, man.
There's just so many whistles. He kept going to the line.
Oh, man. It's a toughie. But Bam Adebayo plays hard every night, is a good player. I don't want to diminish that part. And it's not his fault Washington sucks and is indifferent. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
One person was injured early Tuesday afternoon after a three-way crash involving a Florida Highway Patrol cruiser. The collision unfolded at about 1 p.m. on North Blairstone Road and Miccosukee Road. According to troopers, a pickup, sedan, and FHP cruiser were involved in the incident. One of the vehicles caught fire and crews extinguished the blaze. It is unclear which vehicle in the crash caught fire. EMS was called for one person, and they were taken to the hospital. The cause of the crash remains under investigation. One person is in custody after shots were fired late Monday at an apartment complex in Tallahassee. The Tallahassee Police Department said officers responded about 45 minutes after receiving a call about someone firing shots. Police said no one was injured in the incident. The man was taken into custody, though authorities have not released additional details. This is an ongoing investigation. This is Rachel Anay with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
Now, here's your Tallahassee weather report.
Hey there, I'm meteorologist Ryan Gold, and this lunch hour is very similar to the last few. Mostly sunny skies and temperatures in the upper 70s, and by the late afternoon, we can climb again into the mid to upper 80s. A breeze from the southwest at 6 to 12 miles an hour, with gusts at 20, will welcome us into a front for tomorrow. That front could be bringing in strong or even severe storms through the morning. From the ABC 27 First and Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Ryan
Craving
Gold.
something different? Discover the bold and surprising flavors of Peru at Café de Martín. From sizzling lomo saltado to savory handmade empanadas, every dish is made with heart, history, and soul. Crafted by classically trained Chef Martín himself. It's not just food, it's a trip to Peru without the plane ticket. Swing by Café de Martín today and taste the tradition. Café de Martín, authentic Peruvian, right around the corner.
Hey, Jeff, what's up, buddy?
I was just thinking, they never tell you that when you grow up, one of the things that you'll miss are the games that you created with your friends in the neighborhood.
Oh, good days.
So I would have my buddy come over, and then we'd make up these games that were kind of like a hodgepodge of every game that you've ever played.
Kind of like the bikes we built.
Correct. Yes. And it's a grand experiment. In the beginning, nobody knows how to play the game, and you argue about what the rules are going to be. And in the end, everybody knows how to play the game. By the end of that summer, you know the rules, the neighborhood know the rules, and you play that game like it's the greatest game ever played.
And you still try to break the rules, right?
Oh, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But at the end, Eddie, you're never going to play it again, and you'll think about it the rest of your life.
And the best game you ever played was that game.
Never been a better one.
Hey, you want to have a Gordo Smash, Jeff?
I do. I'd like that.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Rolling on, Big River. You guys want more golf picks? I do mention it next hour, but I'll give you one now. I've got a little pizza money on Corey Connors' top 20 market, top 15 market.
He has emerged from anonymity for the first time in some time. Buddy, he was a top 5 to top 10 machine in majors for a little while there, kind of like when Mark Leishman or Brandon Grace were often in the final or the second to last pairing.
Mark Leishman was a fun golfer to watch. I think he went over to live, didn't he?
I think so. During the Spieth was good era that everybody thinks just existed for way longer than it really actually did. when he's
red hot good, though.
Brandon Grace was timed out in that particular. He was
got to be
always.
Brandon Grace has got to be so pissed. Yep. Really, this guy's on a heater for the ages, and I got to wear this.
Because that's what it looks more like now, just a heater for the ages rather than some sort of greatness.
It still counts, man. You retire and say you won 3 majors and whatever else, it's a pretty big deal.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
but the way people talked about it was Tiger.
I agree. Well, agreed. People are quick to try to do those things. The odds-on favorite again this week, if I'm just giving you numbers, is Scotty Scheffler, obviously. But his percentage chance to win comparative to where he's been in recent weeks continues to drop because he's not in great form. It's impossible to sustain the form he was in. It's ridiculous. He was doing things that were Tiger-esque, actually. Look, I've got a multitude of lineups here. I won't give you all of these, but I do think Ludwig will play well this week again. He's emerged from his funk. I've got him in the top 20 market.
You got Siwoo in there?
Siwoo's numbers all play great here. Mm-hmm. I don't trust Siwoo right now. I played him a ton early in the year, and I loved him. He was great out in California. If you want to play him, you go ahead. His numbers do project well here.
He won when he was a nobody at this particular tournament.
I know, and he does project really well here. Data Golf's numbers have him as the second most likely to win the tournament, frankly. Now, I would disagree with that. I think Colin Morikawa is a guy that has a really good chance to win this tournament. His irons are locked in right now.
Yeah, the profile of how he plays fits Sawgrass pretty well because it's not a bomber's paradise.
No.
Bombing helps, but it's not a humongous deal here like it is in some other tracks or for some other majors.
Connors has overpowered this course some. Now, again, I mean, he's got back top 20s here. So, I mean, I just put him in the top 20 market. Russell Henley projects well here. I hate Russell Henley. I'm one of these guys who admits to his biases in the gambling market just as well as the rooting market. Every time I take Russell Henley to do anything, he sucks. It's like Keith Mitchell, who can go to hell. I'm sure they're wonderful people, but I can't stand them. So you can bet Russell Henley on your own peril there. He does project nicely here, but do with it what you will. Tom has a thing for Victor Hovland, who projects nice in the top 20 market. I don't like Victor. He's too streaky right now for me. He always has that inexplicably sorry-ass round that takes him out of the running. But if he ever puts 4 together...
Oh, he's not just going to win if he puts 4 together. He's going to win.
He's a ball-striking Jesse until he isn't. It doesn't make any sense. All of a sudden, you just watch a round of golf, and you're like, well, my man's out here going to throw up a 76 today. He's out of the tournament. I mean, it's aggravating. Hey, did we learn anything more about Rory with the health situation? He's showing up today, right?
Yeah, he's in betwixt. I don't know if I love that a whole lot.
Min Woo Lee will play well here. I have Xander Schauffele in one of my leagues to play well here. His game is starting to come around. If you want, I'll tell you what I was scared away from. Because, his game projects well here, but I was scared away by Tommy Fleetwood's effort last week. I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I could see that. In DraftKings, he's, I think, the second or third most expensive player right now.
Yeah, if you're looking for percentages in the top 20 or top 10 market, he's over 20% to finish in the top 10. Those are better numbers than you're ever usually going to get. If you want, again, I think Colin Morikawa, if you bet make the cut and you bet top 20s, he's as good a bet as you're going to get for the odds because Scheffler is over the moon.
Looks like the wind is going to be up in general tomorrow, just to give people that idea about afternoon, morning, afternoon draw. I think you might have a slight lean to, if they're out late tomorrow, you like them a little bit more.
I have to look at the times and go back to some of these bets as well.
But you've got sustained winds at 2 different points over the next 2 days in excess of 15 miles an hour, which means it's going to gust over 20. That's problematic out there.
I like betting Sepp Straka a lot. He's always around. Well, Sepp is just around. You can bet him in that top 20 market a lot. You really can.
There's a lineup in DraftKings you could put together, I may have, with Siwoo, Henley, and Sepp Straka, and one other big dog. I think it might have been Morikawa. You could fit them all in there in the budget.
Let me see here. Where's my guys? I put up a team upcoming. There we go. Let's find it. I knew that.
You got any weirdos like Grazerman this week? Anybody like that?
Yeah, let me tell you. I'll give you a weirdo out of nowhere.
Jeff's weirdo of the week. I love it.
No, you know what I did do, Tom? I put a lineup out with Justin Rose. I like Rosie here. I need him to wake up. What the hell's going on? Did you see him lately in the TGL or anything? Does he look like he's?
I don't love this weather forecast for him over the weekend. It's awfully blustery in the next 2 days. I don't know that I like that for
I've got a lineup with Cam Young, Straka, and Min Woo.
There's a shot we have a delay tomorrow as well, around 2 or 3 o'clock.
No delays.
No delays on Friday or Saturday whatsoever. And then it might get a little rainy on Sunday evening. So be on the lookout for those early tee times on Sunday.
You know what's a weird situation is Akshay Bhatia, who I like. I like his personality. I like his game. I'm happy he won a big event. But I will tell you that if you look at some of the numbers in the short game from last week, they're astronomical. They're not sustainable. He was better than everybody in the field in multiple categories that pertain to the short game by he gained 10 strokes. It's insane. I mean, those aren't sustainable. That's just a dude on a heater who's not missing anything from 100 yards in. And it does track because he was just pin hunting the whole back nine. He's just going right at it. Didn't give a damn. Almost hold out.
That is correct. Almost hold out on 16 specifically, yes.
So he knew it. He knew he was locked in. The real kudos to him is that he's admitted before that he gets nervous in tournaments and that in the past when he's gotten nervous, it's affected his shot choices. This time around, he's playing well. He said he got nervous and told his caddy, I don't care. We're good. We're going for it. I'm going to be all right today. There you go. There you go, Akshay. Good on you, baby. I like stuff like that. No, Kev. Hey, guys, don't mean to change the subject on you, but I was wondering, what is one sporting event in the world you have never attended but want to? Thanks for all you guys do. Go Noles. B-ball. Go Noles B-ball for tonight against Cal. I've never attended a Final Four. I have wanted to do that. You and I attended together the Stanley Cup Finals. I have been to a Super Bowl. Been to many college football national championship games because the Noles, once, you guys might not know this, Florida State used to be good in football. Really good. There was a time. Trust me.
Time was.
There was a day. So there's that. I've been out to Omaha for the College World Series. I've never, this is nostalgia for me, Noel Kev, just because I grew up playing this sport and competitively, and there was a little small window where I was pretty good at it. But there was that same window when I loved it because I was playing so much of it, and that's tennis. And I grew up in an era, I was lucky, that was, McEnroe and Borg and later Yvonne Lindell and those guys. It was amazing to watch the sport back then. I longingly look back at what tennis was. Anyhow, I've never been to Wimbledon, and I would love to go to Wimbledon because in my youth, waking up, breakfast at Wimbledon was a thing, and my mother and I would watch that sport together. A lot of things I did sports-wise with my dad and my stepdad and my brothers, right? It was a manly thing. We're watching football, attending these things. Tennis was my mom and I's thing, and she and I would watch the women's finals on Saturday, the men's finals on Sunday every year at Wimbledon. And so I would like to do that. I would have loved to have gone, maybe still will, to Wimbledon with my mom.
I think for me, it's a couple of obvious ones and one specific one. Augusta, I've not been. I now know that course inside and out after watching decades of its history in the final round. I was talking to an older lady last week who was awesome. She was not too far from Albany, right up the road. And I was watching the API, and she and her daughter sit down, and they're both golf nuts. And she goes, "Is Berger still leading?" And I said, "Well, that is a very specific and impressive question." Yes.
Are you a Noel?
Yeah.
No,
just a huge golf enthusiast. Her father is still alive in his 90s, has 2 passes, has had him for decades. She got selected in apparently this legacy drawing that if you've had tickets for at least 30 years, then
badges, Tom.
The badges. Well, sure. I will learn these things when I go. But if you have children, they are also entered into this legacy pass if you've been going for 30-odd years or more.
Nice.
And she got them. So now she's got 2 more. They got 4 badges.
Did you hit on her?
The conversation was going well enough that I thought I might get a stray invite for like a practice round.
Did you give her a number?
No. I mean, she's older, man. I'm
trying to get you to the Masters.
I'm trying to get to the Masters.
Yeah.
That has got to be number one. Number
It's
two
incredible.
would be the Open, specifically at St. Andrews, and number three would be a World Series game in Queens in New York. I don't know if we'll ever see that one, but I had tickets purchased to one. We just did not win the game 7.
You did not.
We preceded it.
I've been to the Masters, obviously. I've told that story. It's a remarkable sports experience.
You've been
there? Yeah. That is going to be that's. I don't think I can top that because of what happened while I was there. I mean, it just I owe Trey Jones all the love in the world for that. I mean, I would have never been able to have access to Jack and have a conversation. I mean, it was ridiculous. Yeah, Wimbledon. I think I'd like to do Wimbledon. And for that matter, I'd like to go to the French Open, Paris, on the clay.
Yep. If Florida State wins the ACC basketball tournament, then you can go have your Paris trip and maybe time it out to go to
that's
Roland
true.
Garros.
That pizza money could, in fact,
Turns into
allow the
baguette
dream
money.
to be.
There you go. Give me a baguette. Get out of my way.
Good times. Go Knowles tonight, right? Come on, boys. What time's that tip?
7.
You'd think I should know that, but I didn't check it. I just knew I'd be watching it.
First game of the evening window. You don't have to worry about any of that nonsense. Like, whoa, they're going into the third overtime.
Yeah, you're like, it's 10:15. We're going to tip. I can't do it. Final hour, forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3, Real Talk Radio, and Warchant TV. Last suggestion for you guys. I think I'd sprinkle a little Cam Young in there.
Ooh, okay. If the putter's good, he's great.
If the putter's good. A little Cam Young in there, a little pizza.
In pest control, the best in North Florida.